Imagining facing life's challenges with a partner who never gives up, always encouraging you to push through adversity. A spouse who perseveres not only inspires you to be resilient, but also fosters a deep sense of teamwork and unwavering support, turning obstacles into shared victories. Together, you can build a life filled with determination, growth, and joy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Marriage Hacks with Joseph
And Miriam.
with real talk
Real solutions.
for a healthy, thriving marriage. Well, in today's episode, our preemptive P, we're doing two of them. We're doing perseverance and persistence because they are so closely tied together. We knew that we would be basically duplicating what we did for the next 2 weeks. So we just decided to combine the two. All right, so a persevering spouse is someone who demonstrates unwavering determination in the face of challenges. They approach obstacles with a positive mindset, viewing setbacks as opportunities for growth. This partner is reliable and steadfast, always ready to lend support and encouragement. Their resilience not only strengthens the relationship, but also inspires those around them to keep striving for their goals with a deep commitment to their shared dreams. They embody patience and tenacity, creating a solid foundation for a thriving partnership.
Okay, our first scripture is Galatians 6:9, and let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not.
Amen. And I think you have the next one too, don't you?
2 Corinthians 4:16, for which cause we faint not, but through our outward man, though our outward man perishes, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. Verse 17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of joy.
And this next one, Isaiah 40:29, he giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young man shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint.
Okay, here are 10 characteristics of a persevering, persistent spouse. Number 1, resilience. 2, supportive. 3, goal-oriented. 4, patient. 5, adaptable. 6, communicative. 7, motivational. 8, loyal. Number 9, a problem solver. And 10, empathetic.
All right, so I'm going to cover the first one, resilience. Bounces back from setbacks and maintains a positive outlook. I remember the last week when I think we were covering our last episode, I had mentioned something about trying to be positive all the time, and Miriam gave me this look, and I said, well, I thought I did a good job at doing that. But one thing that I can say is that we both are resilient people, because we have
no choice but to be.
Yeah, because we have faced some setbacks, just like everybody else. It's part of life. Even God in the Bible says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but God shall deliver them out of them all. So Miriam and I, we have seen our share of ups and downs. And when we returned from our cruise, that was that one incident that we discussed. But also our stove went down, and Miriam had an issue with her treadmill. And this was like three things, boom, 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 right? One after another. Right after we returned from our cruise, which was a very wonderful, relaxing time. But I just thank God that I am partnered together with a spouse who is resilient. Sometimes having somebody with a bullheaded personality can be a pain in the butt. But
there you go, calling me an inch with a B again.
I did not call you that. But it can definitely work to your advantage when facing hardships. When you got somebody that's very resilient, that has that bulldog determination, that no matter what you two are going through, that you're going to get to the other side. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it, because if you are married to a jellyback person that can't take much, it's going to be hard, because it's going to feel like that you in that fight all by yourself. Okay, what's the next one?
Supportive. Always encourages you to pursue your goals and dreams.
Now, this is one thing that I think we both do it. Miriam and I both do it. We encourage each other to pursue our dreams. If Miriam even gives me an inkling of something that she wants, my mind is constantly trying to figure out a way to make it happen. And she does the same thing with me. Even with our limited resources at times, she's like, okay, Joe, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to make this thing happen, because you said you wanted this, and we're going to make sure you get it. And I do the same for her. Okay, what's the next one?
Yours.
Okay.
Goal-oriented.
Goal-oriented. Focuses on long-term objectives and works tirelessly to achieve them. And I'm going to tell you, the goals that we have as far as this channel is concerned, they are huge. And we know that the things that we want to accomplish, we knew going into it that it wasn't going to happen overnight. And we knew it was going to be a tireless process. And that's what
it has been.
That's what it has been. And we have to encourage each other to keep going, and that's the way that every marriage relationship needs to be, and partnership needs to be. You need to encourage one another to pursue your goals.
Okay, being patient, understanding that progress takes time and is willing to wait for the results. Well, that goes right back to being goal-oriented and focusing on the long-term objectives and working tirelessly to achieve them, because nothing truly good happens overnight. I think about that saying where people say, oh, he or she was an overnight success. No. That overnight took years. It took preparation. It took ups and downs. It took tears. It took all those things. But then one day it's like you explode. I'm a personal trainer, so I think of weight loss. It can be so daunting and take so much time, but the slow road is the best road. And then one day you've been doing all this work, working, and the progress shows. It shows, wait a minute, I can do this when 3 weeks ago I couldn't do that. And that's one of the things I love about watching my clients, that they, even after 2 or 3 weeks of working out, they realize that they're able to do something that they couldn't. And then after 12 weeks or so, people see them and it's like, wait a minute, you lost a lot of weight. And it's like it happened overnight. But no, it didn't happen overnight. It was portion control. It was hitting the workouts. It was doing all those things. And slowly, but then it culminates. We have a young man at church who's a praise and worship leader who has lost, I think, almost 80 pounds, 75, 80 pounds. And if you look at him, you would think, boom, this happened overnight, but it didn't. I watched him as he reduced and he brought his weight down. And that is what being goal oriented is about. You got to stick to it and be patient, and patient is not easy. That's one of the things I talk to my clients about, that it's not going to happen overnight. And there are going to be weeks that you're not going to lose weight, or you're not going to see a difference, but you feel a difference. I think of like Tyler Perry, when he broke out with Medea, and he tells the story of how he was at his wit's end. He was living in his car, and he said, if nobody shows up to this play, I'm not doing it. And then someone came and showed him that there was a line around the corner. So we just have to keep pushing for what we want, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. We just have to keep pushing, and in due season, you will reap. When that due season is, I wish I know. It's like the verse that says, cast your bread upon the water, and many days it will return. It didn't say how many days, but it just said it will return. And that's something that you have to think about. And you have to be willing to wait the long term for it to work out. Like Joe was saying, the day after we got back, it was just one thing after another. Literally the day that we got back, my treadmill started acting up. I'm sitting there tinkering with it, doing all the stuff, and the Holy Spirit goes, you're going to get a new treadmill. I call Assurian, the company that does my warranty company for the treadmill, and literally within an hour they had sent me a gift card to reorder it from Amazon. And then I get the new treadmill, and I'm looking at it after Joe put it together, and the walking pad is crooked and it's creaking, all kinds of stuff.
I didn't put that part together. It came like that. It came
It came like
all
that.
already together. I don't want people thinking, oh, Joe don't know how to put stuff together. No, that was not the case.
And I was like, okay, Lord. And I didn't even tell Joe what was going on with it, because I knew he would start his hemming and hawing. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that right now. I just need to go ahead and call and get it fixed. And it took a couple of days for the part to get here. And then the gentleman called me and said, okay, I can't come today like I was scheduled. Can I come Monday? And I was just tapping my fingers, and I'm going, okay, Lord. You know, feeling pressure and tired. And the guy gets here yesterday, and he confides in me. He starts talking about what his last couple of weeks have been about. And he had been diagnosed with cancer. And about how he was going to start treatment in 2 weeks. And all of my frustration just kind of melted away. And I was like, can I pray with you? So, you know, God works in mysterious ways. Maybe it was meant for me to get a treadmill that didn't, that needed some work, even brand new out the box, so that I would be able to pray with this man. I'm just using this as an example because we're going 2 weeks without a stove. And just found out, it's a long story, but it's going to be another 2 weeks without a stove. And so after I got that news, I'm just going to tell you, I was angry. I was pissed. I was, in my head, I'm going off with everything that's going on. And then I just started praising God. Just praising God. All things work for the good. And just like God sent that man here who had been diagnosed with cancer, this has a reason too. I don't know the reason. But this has a reason too. But it all goes with patience. We've got to be patient. Right now, the goal is to get my stove fixed so that I can cook a meal, because I'm tired of sandwiches and I'm tired of eating out. Okay.
And so, when the repair guy was here, and I knew, I think Miriam and I both knew it wasn't going to be a good.
Yeah, because he kept going in and out, and I have a Ring camera with sound, and he was talking really low, and he had been here for about 45 minutes, so I finally just came downstairs and said, sir, excuse me, I get the impression that the news is not good because you've been outside on the phone for 3 times. What's going on? And then he explained basically the technician that came out before didn't do his job, is long and short of it. And so completely different parts have to be ordered, and he can't come back for at least another 2 weeks. And this company has been notorious for canceling on us or just not showing up, but that's the one that our home warranty company is contracting with. And I'm just thinking, okay, I gotta let patience do its work. And maybe God is using this situation to show me, to make me patient, because I'm not one of those stupid people. God, I want to pray for patience. Give me patience. No, how you learn patience? You wait.
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna pray for that, but there's something that God is trying to teach me in this situation. I don't know what it is, but it's something that He's trying to teach me as far as patience.
Well,
kind of went off skewed there.
But anyway, the Lord had me to, because I knew, this situation has been very frustrating, but God has constantly been putting before me the things that these people have been facing, that have lost everything because of these terrible storms. And I right before we started recording this episode, I was looking at something on social media. This meteorologist in Florida was talking about this terrible storm
that's supposed to hit land tomorrow night in Florida.
And he was so upset that he almost broke down in tears on live TV.
Yeah.
Thinking about the devastation that was they already trying to clean up
Western North Carolina, South Carolina, and parts of
Florida from the first storm.
From Helene.
And now this next storm is getting ready to hit, and the man was emotional and breaking down. And I'm like, Lord, what we're going through is very uncomfortable, inconvenient, but compared to what these people are facing, most of them, a lot of them, literally, the only thing they had was the clothes on their backs.
Yeah.
They have lost everything. And I'm like, Lord, and it makes you almost embarrassed or ashamed of yourself. I'm like, okay, Lord, I know that I'm facing some difficulties right now, but compared to what these people are going through, and people that have lost family members. Yeah. They've
run out of body bags in Western North Carolina.
And I was reminded of a story that a friend of ours was telling on Facebook about these people that lived up in the mountains and how they found children that were huddled together, terrified. Mm-hmm. They were so terrified that they couldn't even tell people their names, and they didn't even know where their parents were. And so I'm like, man, I said, so we're facing some convenience right now, but we have so much to be thankful for.
Yes, we do.
So much.
We do.
Okay, so the next one is adaptable. Adjust strategies when faced with obstacles, demonstrating flexibility. Yeah, just think about how many times that you had to adjust your strategy, that things didn't go the way as planned, and you had to, okay, now we're going to come up with a plan B.
Or C, or D,
or C, or D. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have that kind of resilience that, okay, if one door closed, okay, we're going to look for the next door. This thing can still be remedied. We can still get to the other side. Yeah. It's just not going to be the way that we thought.
Yeah, going back to a fitness metaphor, I have a client that I've been with for about 2.5 months. And the first 8 weeks was because he had so many issues, physical issues, that for the first 8 weeks, it was just literally trial and error. What kind of fitness can I do for him? What can we do? What can we do? And it's only been in like the last 4 weeks that I figured out how to train him and what to do to get results. So you have to be adaptable. One fitness saying that I love is, don't change your goals, change your methods. And I think that it's true. You have to change your method. So basically what I'm thinking is, okay, God, I've got this going on. I've got that going on. I told y'all about the Healing Hearts class that I'm going to. So sometimes you just have to reroute. You can't give up. You can't throw out the baby with the bath water, so to speak. You just have to figure out a different way to approach things. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely me, because Joe will get stuck. Our son-in-law, David, said something to him last Sunday or Saturday, and it sent Joe into a tailspin. He started his, I've told y'all about. And I'm sitting there looking at him going, Joe, why are you letting this one request drive you crazy? All you have to do is this, and this. Instead of looking at the whole picture at one time, take a chunk. Take a chunk out. And that's me. I'm the one that takes a chunk out of things, and I go, okay, I can't handle this all at once. You just give me this part of the picture, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all learn during our journeys. After, matter of fact, yesterday I told Miriam, because we were talking about that same thing she just mentioned, and I said, you know what? When I get back, because I'm ready to leave for a crusade, a ministry, a crusade, and I said, when I get back, I'm gonna start a day planner. I said, I'm just going to start a day planner. And I said, I just have to manage my time a lot more effectively than I have in the past. And that will alleviate a whole lot of my frustration.
Mm-hmm. I have a calendar, and I've had a calendar for more years than I can think. Even when I was able to keep stuff in my head, but I can't keep stuff in my head as well anymore. I have a calendar, and you can go look at my calendar and see everything I have to do. And it's that I consider that calendar to be like a budget. We talked about the whole budget thing and how a budget helps you to know what you can and can't do. That just means I can look at that calendar and go, no, can't do it this day, can't do it that day, but I can do it this day, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So for me to be able to put everything in that I have to do, I just renew my calendar, and sometimes I renew my calendar daily. Depending on what comes up, I do it daily.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what's the next one?
Okay, communication. Openly discusses challenges and seeks resolutions together.
Is that something that we do?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay. So the next one is motivational. Inspires you to push through difficult times and keep striving.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm Miriam's motivational coach, and sometimes she's my motivational coach. And that's the way it needs to be in your relationship, because sometimes one of you are gonna get tired, and you're gonna feel like you want to throw in the towel. But during that time, you need to have a coach that's gonna tell you, get your butt up, and you keep fighting. And you try to throw the towel in, they catch it and say, no, you ain't throwing no towel in. You gonna fight, and you gonna keep fighting. And it reminds me when I was bullied growing up, and I used to. And these guys were threatening to beat me up. These kids were threatening to beat me up. And so I would run home every day. And my mom's, what you running for? What you running? Why you run? And I told her what's going on. She said, boy, you better stop running. You better fight them boys. And if you don't, guess what? I'm gonna whip your butt. I'm gonna whip your butt.
Yeah, I've given that speech before.
And so I said, oh my goodness, I'm about to fight these boys. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was gonna be more than one. I knew it was gonna be me against at least two. Mm-hmm. And but that's what I did. I was like, okay, well, my mom said I got to fight, so I'm gonna fight.
Or I'm gonna come home to a butt.
Yeah. And so that day I stood my ground, and I
Did they beat the snot out of you?
No, actually, I was giving more. I was giving more than I was taking, but I took some. But I dished out a lot more than I took. But because I was so emotional, I still ran home crying. and then my mom went to the up the street to where the boys live.
Yeah.
And
then she took over.
And then she took over, and she let them know what she thought about the whole thing. But then she saw how the boys looked. And she said she came back home. She said, "What you crying for? Them boys look a whole lot worse than you." but that taught me a lesson, that that a good motivator can cause you to dig deep and to do things that you didn't even think that you had
that you could do. Yeah, I have a sign in my studio that says I am a people builder. That through God, I tap into people's strengths. And with those strengths, we are able to succeed in their fitness program. I had a situation like that where my sister Dimples, she gave me these girls at Haynes High School back in the 70s. There used to be a recreation center, and they were messing with me, and I went home crying. And my sister Dimples, she was my surrogate mama. She broke a bottle. And she said, "Now you take this and you go back up there. And if you got to cut them, you cut them." And I was like, "Okay." And I went up there shaking with this bottle in my hand. I can tell you who the girls were, but I ain't going to call their names out. But after I stood up to them with that bottle, of course, they thought I was crazy. I turned around and Dimples was behind a bush looking to see. And I knew she had my back. But that motivation was, you don't get them, I'm going to get you. So, yeah, sometimes you need that physical violence motivation.
Yep.
I remember another time when some boys had done something and Joshua was involved. And I remember that day, he was about 12. I was feeling pretty that day. I was feeling good that day. And I had on a nice little off-white suit and was just feeling good. And he comes at me with some BS that he's been accused of and all this stuff. And I'm like, dang, I can't even have one feel pretty day. And so I took him by the hand. He said, "Where are we going?" I said, "We're going up to the church office. We're going to take care of this." And he was like, "But I don't want to go." "You going." And I walked up there. I had him by the hand and I was ready to fight. But that gave him motivation. I was like, "Tell him what you did wrong. You own up to your part. You own up to your part and we'll deal with the rest." So that kind of physical motivation can get you going at times.
So what's the next one?
Loyal. Stays committed through thick and thin, fostering trust in the relationship.
Amen. I think that's one thing that we've always done. We've always stuck with each other through thick and thin.
Well, it's like last week when I was talking and I said that in this one particular area that you had to regain my trust. But that doesn't mean that trust was completely broken. It's just that things in life happen and you have to rebuild. But I'm not going anywhere. It's not like because of that one thing that I'm going to leave. I ain't going nowhere. If anything, you might find him dead and I collect. No, I'm just joking. Collect the insurance. I'm just joking.
All right. So the next one is
problem solver.
Problem solver. Approaches challenges with a solution-oriented mind. And that's one thing that most men do automatically anyway. Sometimes, depending on the situation, it may not be such a good thing, because sometimes when we're trying to fix something and our spouse may just want us to listen, they want a listening ear, and the whole time we're trying to figure out, okay, how can I fix this? How can I fix this? How can I fix this? But then there are other times when you actually need the problem, you need to go into it with that mindset. Okay, so we're gonna fix this thing. Whatever this problem is, we're gonna figure out a solution to this issue. You want to say anything about that, Mary?
Nope.
Okay, so this is the last one.
Well, I will say something about it. One thing you and I have talked about is one of my strengths is going into a situation head first. I am more the problem solver. Joe will let me know what's going on, just like what happened last week. And I'm like, well, Joe, just do A, B, C, D. And I think that even though Joe is a problem solver too, the difference between the two of us is that I don't allow myself to get all angsty and huffy and puffy when I'm trying to solve a problem. I just go, okay, we got to work on it. It's something we got to do. All right, the last one is empathetic. Understands your struggles and offers emotional support and encouragement. That's very important. A couple of weeks before we left on vacation, we talked about a situation where Joe had issues with what he was doing as a profession, and I was saying that because of my mindset and how I think, I couldn't understand where he was coming from. Sometimes it's hard to be empathetic, especially if you don't have a point of reference for something. You don't have a point of reference, and when it comes to times like that, and he's dealing with something that I literally have no point of reference. There's no, I'm showing my age now. There's nothing in my Rolodex, my mental Rolodex or my hard drive that can relate to that. So it can be hard to be empathetic, sympathetic, whatever. And it's those times that you just have to listen. Mm-hmm. You just have to listen. Everything does not have to be a two-way street. Even with God, I know for myself, there are times when I'm talking to God and talking to God and talking, and I'm trying to hear him and I'm not hearing anything. I'm like, okay, God, are you there? Are you there? Do you hear me? Kind of thing. But like God, sometimes he's quiet. And a lot of times a reason he's quiet is because sometimes you wind up talking things out in yourself. Or my experience has been that sometimes you'll have all this going on and God, I don't know what to do. And he sends you into a situation that answers your question. Or he sends you to someone that answers your questions. Mm-hmm. So.
All right. So this brings us to the end of this episode. Mm-hmm. And as always, I always say the same thing at the end of our episodes. If there was anything in this episode that you related to, that you benefited from, please like and share. And comment. Yeah, comment. Yeah, we need some comments because this is our last preemptive P. And so our next set of videos, we're going to be answering specific questions. So please give us some questions.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yes.
I did.
Please give us some questions that we can answer, specific questions. Because if you don't give us the questions, we have to come up with the questions on our own. But it would be much better if people that have been listening to our episodes, mm-hmm. if they would come up or give us some ideas of specific questions, answers that you would like. But as always, we're going to leave valuable information in our description.
And next week, the video will be late since Joe is leaving on that crusade. We won't be posting on Tuesday.
Yes. So next week, it may be late.
It's not going to be maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be late because I will be out of town. But just bear with us. We're going to get right back on our usual schedule. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Okay?
You said that already.
No, I said like and support. I didn't say subscribe.
Okay.
So until the next time, have a blessed and prosperous day.
Till the next time, y'all.